Hey, what is going on, everybody? My name's Luke, and today we're going to be taking a look at the recent event that happened on Friday, which was LVO, Las Vegas Open. We're going to be taking a look at specifically lists and if there was a meta, talking about competitive side of things. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty, so the first thing that we're going to be taking a look at is probably one of the most important things when going to a big event, which is the actual tables. And the tables from LVO look absolutely beautiful. Really nice job with that by everyone that brought terrain and set up tables. LJ and everybody else who was involved. Just props to you guys. Nice job. They all look really well thought out, and they look very well playable. There was maybe one or two that seemed a little open, but I mean, you can't complain from these tables. They look absolutely amazing. One thing to remember when looking at these is both players had the opportunity to set up two barricades during, I think that was like the first step that they did before even revealing lists or points. So the players beforehand could set up and add up to two barricades. They could add 0 if they chose. So that's a nice thing to, kind of maybe stop people from complaining that one side's better than the other. I guess you could add some barricades, give more cover to one side, I guess. Whatever. It's a good idea. But yeah, really nice job on all these tables. I am very optimistic that Adepticon will be this good. We can only hope. Hopefully this is a standard set now. Hopefully we don't have another Nova or even Gen Con kind of table setups for the big event at Adepticon, so we'll see. But really nice job. I recommend taking a look at this one. Maybe is a little open, but there's got to be some variety to boards, right? So I think they did a really nice job, and yeah, I would have loved to play on these boards, man. Look at these beautiful terrain. This one's interesting. I wasn't sure. I mean, I didn't go to the event, but I wasn't sure if they played these as line of sight blockers, which it kind of looks like. A thick forest. Maybe it was just line of sight blockers. That'd be interesting. But yeah, I recommend going and checking these out. These are from the Facebook page, obviously. Las Vegas Open, Star Wars Legion. So yeah, go and check those out. And nice job, everybody, on these tables. Alrighty, so now we're going to be taking a look at the thing that everyone's been waiting for the most. I think I know this is what I was most curious in, which is the actual list that we're seeing at LVO. So we're going to be taking a look at the top 6. So I believe what they did was they had 62 players in total. I think it was 34 Empire, 28 Rebels, so pretty even split. And then they went to the top 12 after 4 rounds. Those top 12 played in a final cut match, and I think they did it like March Madness style seeding. So 1 played whoever was ranked 12, 2 played 11, so on and so on. So then those 6 winners ended up getting the actual invite. So we're going to be taking a look at those 6 lists. Starting with number 6, we have Endless, as I'm sure a lot of you know him by. David Delenka. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. So pretty standard Luke Leia, 5 Z6 troopers. We got a scattergun and 3 sniper teams. So pretty standard build, just about maximizing efficiency of units and points. The Z6 squad is maybe the most efficient unit in the game, so just taking 5 of those is probably where we're at in the game, I guess. 3 snipers, you got the points, you may as well. And Luke is just your power horse of this list, and Leia kind of sits back and commands. So nice job by David, getting that invite. Congratulations to you, sir. Alright, so 5th place, going 4-1 as well. Another Luke and Leia, cookie cutter kind of list. This list is actually interesting though, because on Luke he doesn't have stims, which usually people take nowadays. Kind of gives him like an extra activation in case he dies, so that's interesting. Also, not having improvised orders on Leia, usually you see that. That's one of the best upgrade cards for commanders. I know in my list I always take it on Veers. Then another, let's see, this one has 6 Z6s, so just maxing out on the Z6 trooper. 2 snipers, and then actually an FD turret, which is interesting. So there's another list that has an FD turret in the top 6, and I think it's a good idea actually, because you can kind of just plop it right in the middle and just have control over the board. That range 4 is nothing to slouch about. It also gives you a good source of impact, which the Rebels are kind of slacking on. So, good idea. And I think running them naked, no upgrades, is the best way to run both the laser cannon as well as the E-Web. So, something to think about. I mean, the upgrades do help, but I think they kind of cut into the efficiency. And when you get super competitive, I think efficiency is one of your main goals when trying to maximize your list. Really, it's all about efficiency. Alright, so moving on to 4th place, we got a Boba Fett and Veers list. This list had it's the 3-3-3. So you got the 3 snowtroopers, 3 DLTs, and 3 snipers. Again, just an efficiency list. Like I said, improvised orders on Veers. You pretty much use that to, if you draw Boba Fett early on in a round where you don't have a command token on, you don't want to go with Boba Fett first. You usually want to go with him last. You use improvised orders, probably picking a sniper or troopers, obviously. As far as command cards go, I bet he took coordinated fire. It's one of the best command cards now. The aim chain is just too good not to take. I don't think anybody would leave it out of a Veers Boba list nowadays. Interestingly, I usually put Hunter on Boba Fett, but I can see the argument for putting Recon Intel instead. Also, interestingly, we see usually in these lists about a 5 to 3 point bid, so not the crazy 20-point bids that we were seeing with key positions. So just another point to think about. Alright, 3rd place, Davis Kingsley. He's the guy who's won the past 2 Invader Leagues, so definitely a good player. Nice job. Luke, Leia, these are the standard upgrades that you usually see on them. He's got 5 Z6 troopers, 3 snipers, and the FD turret. So yeah, another efficiency list. Pretty much the 3 rebel lists in the top 6 were almost identical. So as far as meta goes, I would say that we're looking at a meta, at least for rebels. It's just about maxing those Z6 troopers, taking the Wonder Twins, throwing some snipers in. Maybe you have some play with whether or not you're going to take a laser cannon or that extra trooper. So I guess if that's a difference, then yeah. But I think that's pretty similar and pretty telling that the best rebel list is Luke, Leia, and a bunch of troopers, bunch of snipers, and maybe 1 unit that you play around with, depending on your play style. Okay, so moving on to 2nd place. Woohoo! My favorite character in the game. Emperor Palpatine. So, just anger and steam leader. I think that's the best way to run him. Any other upgrades on him, he gets to be really expensive. 220 is manageable, but once you start putting like force push or the one where you get deflect, I'm blanking on it, or the one where you get the free dodge, force reflexes, that's it. Those upgrades start pushing them to like the 230, 245 range, so that starts to get really expensive. Interestingly, this is something that I've been thinking about. When you're running medic droids, I think the best way to do it is just do it in a naked squad. Their purpose is just to run around, stay near Emperor Palpatine, take those Guardian hits, as well as heal him. So you basically have 5 health from each for Guardian purposes on Palpatine. And then you have 2 from the medics to reboot either Palpatine or Snowtroopers. I was talking to Joe a little bit, and he was saying that he usually likes to use the first wave of heals to either bring up Snowtroopers back if they're focusing as Snowtroopers, or guards if they're focusing as guards, or Palpatine if they're obviously focusing him. But then the second wave he likes to recharge for the Palpatine bomb. So, interesting list here. I'm really glad that Palpatine made the top 6. He's my favorite piece in the game. So then 2 DLTs, they're just pretty efficient units. And then he's got a Snowtrooper unit with the frags, and then one with the officer. One thing that Palp lists are always lacking on is Inspire, so it's a good idea to bring an officer so that you have at least 1 level Inspire. So get rid of that pesky suppression, especially on these 1 courage value units. Having that suppression is really damaging. And then he's got the guard. It's kind of like a built-in cost with Palpatine because he's got entourage, so you always kind of want to run guard. Tenacity and environmental gear, so he used them as more of like an offensive power, mainly to tie down things like Vader or Luke. That he needed an answer for those guys, so that's why I took them. And then 1 sniper team, interestingly, he said he probably would have taken an EUA, but he didn't find the points anywhere in the list, so went with the snipers. Backfield objective getter, you know, putting down some pressure, maybe getting a kill here or 2, so snipers are always good. And then first place we have another Veers Boba list. It's got Snowtrooper. This one had the comms relay, so really going to maximize the coordinated fire attack. So on that round, you're going to give 1 relay back to Veers, as I'm sure most of you know. Start the aim chain with him doing spotter, and then you just go from there and get an insane amount of aim tokens. So good job to everybody. I know Orchimedes will have a better breakdown than I did. He crunches the numbers really well. So I'm gonna link his blog in the post, or in the whatever comment section or whatever. So check that out, as I'm sure you guys have already done. And yeah, so very interesting. As far as meta goes, I think for the Rebels we definitely see a meta. I mean, we can say for sure that Luke and Leia and just troopers and snipers is the best way to go. All 3 of the top Rebel lists were that exact build. As far as the Empire goes, I mean, it's kind of the same thing with Veers Boba. And then Palpatine's pretty good, so if you have a really good player using him, you can do a lot of shenanigans and get the win with Palpatine if you know what you're doing. It takes a lot of practice with Palpatine. Not that it doesn't take practice with other lists, but Palpatine especially. So yeah, I think we can say that there's a meta right now. We'll see what happens in the next few months when we get all the newer units, see how it shakes it up. But as for right now, I think we can confirm a meta. So you take that as you want it. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Have a good day, everybody, and stay cool.